Good morning, and welcome to Winnipeg. Now, a person would think that an unusual feature like this, there'd be a lot of pictures of it, but there isn't, except for at least one that somebody by the name of John sent to us yesterday. And I'm going to show you that photo. I'll superimpose it somewhere. And it clearly shows that there is no railing on this part. At least it's not on this pulpit or grandstand, depending on what you want to call it, at that time. Now, it is possible the photo was taken before the railing was put on, or maybe the railing had been taken off for some sort of installation of the guns, or who knows. But it clearly shows that there was a time when this section looked like it was complete, and it did not have a railing. So that's what we're going to depict. We're going to depict that moment. And I'm not going to try and fuss around with what's left of this. Let's move on. Okay, it shows that there is, it shows a couple of little ladders here in step 13 that have to be put down. I don't know if now is the time to put those ladders on or not. About 10 minutes ago, I guess, I got to thinking, I wonder how well this is going to fit on the bow of the ship, which is way over there. And I took it over and dropped it down, and it does sort of fit, but I don't think it fits the way it's supposed to, because you'll notice that there's a couple of little pins coming out of the bottom here. They are supposed to line up with two little holes that are in the deck so that you can get it centered. And these pins are too short. Either that or the deck is dropped down too far, or the gunnel is too high up. And I do recall somebody mentioning how they had to do a little bit of, you might call it whittling, to get this thing to fit. Now, I'm not going to worry about the fact that the pegs don't go down into the holes. I'm just going to make sure I got this positioned in the right place, and then just glue it right down onto the gunnel. And I think that'll be okay. My plan is to paint the outside the same gray as the side of the hull, and also on the inside of the splinter rail. And then the deck part, I'm probably going to do the number 77, so it will match the rest of the deck that the anchor ways and everything are on. Otherwise, it's going to maybe kind of look kind of funny. And then after that, we will drop down the ammunition boxes and also the guns and the little jack flag stand, post, whatever. And then I'm going to very, very carefully put this away until after we're almost done, and it'll be one of the last things we put on. That'll be when we start dropping down components that we have built. We've got a long ways to go here, and if I keep getting hung up over little things like this that are so insignificant that people aren't going to notice one way or the other unless you look for it, we're never going to get done. A viewer asked me, he says, yesterday, he says, I think he just typed in when, and I put back question mark. And then he came back, when will this be, when do you think you'll be finished, or something to that effect. And I started to think about it, and I thought, if I keep messing with stuff like this, we're never going to get it finished. Yeah, let's just move on. We've got a long way to go here yet. Okay. Now, the last couple of times that I've used Kevin's USS South Dakota mug, I forgot to mention that You remember back at Christmas time, Jane and Dave sent some photos? Well, that one up there is the USS South Dakota. Yeah, just a point of interest. Okay, moving right along. We have to get a couple of little ladders here, and they are called C-41s, and we need 2 of them. Well, there are 2 C sheets, so yeah. However, yesterday evening, we got our electronics.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Pretty good, thank you.
Okay, bye.
You have a good day.
Yeah, you too, bye.
Thingamajiggy here. I haven't opened it yet. This is going to be the first time. Now, some of you noticed I already started the rip so that I wouldn't be making a fool of myself. You know, why am I so damn honest in these videos? I probably could have tricked everybody to think I just ripped it open. Okay. What do we got here? If this seal or bubble is damaged, peel off. I've never got anything quite like that before. Please reject. Do not sign the package. Okay, well, it looks alright to me. Huh, like I said, I've never got anything like this before. Oh, this is so pathetic. I can't fight my way into a paper bag. Alright. We'll open this up and take a look at it later. Maybe I'll do an extra video on it. And yeah, it's I've got to be honest with you. I'm not as gung ho about this as I was 3 days ago when I ordered it. But I'm sure I'll eventually be able to use this breadboard. I've always wanted a breadboard, and not the kind that you cut a loaf of bread on either. I've already got one of them. Okay, let's move on here. We'll just set up to cut our ladder. Okay, so here we go. C-41. Now, you know what I'm going to do, don't you? I'm going to put on the macro lens. And after I put on the macro lens, I have to make sure that I put my cutter back onto this one, not this one. Okay, here we go. I didn't hear it go pop. Well, that one I kind of heard. Okay, let's turn this around here now. And where is it? 41. There it is. Now, ooh. It's here somewhere. There we go. Had to show it to you. Now, those of you who have been with me for a while, you know what I'm going to say next, don't you? Yeah, I'm going to do the other one exactly the same way. Okay, we're going to have ammunition boxes placed on the edge here like this. I don't know if these pegs are going to want to go easily into those holes or not. I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't think it's going to just drop into place. But anyway, you get the idea. Now the ladder, going by the diagram here, it looks to me like it gets placed right along the edge here. Right there and right there. Now, if the railing was on there, there must have been some sort of a little gate or something, or maybe the guy would crawl up the ladder and sort of vault himself over the railing. That could be too. Anyway, let's just see how this is gonna work here. almost need the macro lens on, don't I? Anyway, they're going to go something like this. Yeah. Now, the problem is if I CA them on there right now, and yet I think that maybe now is probably the easiest time. But will the distance from the bottom of the ladder to where it touches onto the deck, you know what? These ladders maybe should be put on afterwards. Yeah, maybe they should be put on afterwards. I'll put them in test tubes and save them. Paint them, of course. And then we'll save them and put them in place after this part is put onto the bow of the ship. Because I don't know what the exact distance is from the deck to this deck, you know. They might have to be at a bit of an angle to fit, or maybe not. I don't know. You know, I guess I could get the ship over here and find out. No, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint these and put them in a test tube and mark them. Okay, we have our specially prepared rotating block here. This is just ordinary masking tape. And that little pinhole is the center of rotation. Now, I don't think I need to stick these down too hard here because I don't think they're going to blow off. Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, I've made myself a rotating block for this here, and I was thinking maybe a large ball of blue tack right in the center there, and then just sort of stick it onto the bottom. But I'm just wondering if, well, first of all, I guess I have to decide, am I going to be putting the jack staff in place before I paint? It might be a good idea because the glue, when I try to glue it down, it's probably going to make a mess. So, you know, and I was entertaining the idea of, where is it here? Taking one of Chris's alligator clips and just sort of grabbing onto like one of these pegs like that. But then there's I think I'm going to risk breaking off the flagstaff. So I think I'm going to use the blue tack idea, and then put the. Oh, got a comment. I wonder who that was. Okay. Anyway, still thinking about it. Okay, that was the comment we just got. Alright, now this underside is not going to be seen, so we'll try and place this in such a way that it's not going to ooze up over anywhere that is going to be seen. This isn't wanting to stick very good here. Try and hold it so you can see what I'm doing. Now, the idea is to get this centered on the block and then just press it down until we see it starting to ooze out over the bottom edges here. Okay, now that's actually pretty good. I think that'll probably hold not too bad. I know it's kind of coming up through the holes there, but that's where where the gun mounts are going to go, but that's going to be all right. Now, I think the thing to do now is to very carefully glue the jack stand in place. Yeah. Okay, here we go. And I haven't tried this peg in this hole yet, so this is going to be a sort of a dry run, you might say. Oh yeah, that's almost too loose. I think what's going to have to happen here is that, oops, when this is curing or drying, I'm going to have to sort of hold it so it doesn't slump over and dry crooked. I think that's, oh there, yeah, that's going to be alright. Okay, let's just get a little bit of extra thin on there now. Don't want to go dropping it here. It's almost falling out of the tweezer. Okay, now just a little tiny bit. No, you can't see it from your angle, but it is leaning forward, so I'm going to have to push it back. Now, oh, now it's leaning to the left. Maybe if I look at it straight down, I can see it a little better here. Yeah, if I'm looking straight down on it. Now, if it will meld like that, oh, now it's slowly moving back. Let me just check the monitor here. Maybe a tiny bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, now it's moving back. Okay, let's just leave that alone and see what happens. I am going to keep an eye on it, though. Okay, what do we got here? About 5 minutes has passed. Yeah, it's going to have to do. Now, you're all thinking, old Ron's going to break that off before he gets it on the ship. Or maybe very shortly thereafter. Now, this flagstaff that you see, well, I guess it's going to be going in this direction, is probably going to be within, I'm guessing, within an eighth of an inch of the side of the inside of the case, because this ship just barely fits. So if we, in other words, if we put a flag on it, the flag can't be flapping forwards. It has to be flapping backwards. Okay, so what I got to do here now is prepare some rotating blocks. And yeah, I'm going to probably just quickly do that off camera. You get the idea. And mount these 5 different little pieces on them, and they have to be labeled so I don't get them mixed up. Although I might be able to tell by looking at the diagram, but I want to mark on the side of the, you know, like I did on some of these. So sure, now that I want to, oh yeah, there we go, J40. So I want to do that with you know, all of these. In other words, A through E. Now, I don't think there is anything else here that we have to get. We are not going to put the railing on, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. I think we are basically ready to spray, except for getting these mounted. Now, about this thing right here. I keep saying how bad I feel about it, but I was just thinking this morning, it could well be that there is somebody that is going to be doing the Iowa in the very near future, and they might like to actually have this. Now, if that person can wait until my car thaws out, it's right now it's covered with snow, and I'm not planning to drive it until the snow melts. So that probably won't be until, I'm guessing the end of April. And then I would be able to get to the post office and mail it to that person. And I would be happy to mail it to you as long as you're I can conveniently and not too expensively mail it to you. And you don't live in some part of the world that, is hard to mail something to. And there isn't really too many places like that anymore. So if you want to send me a note to the model ship at hotmail.com with your address and everything, I don't promise, but there's a real good chance that come spring I'll actually get in my car and drive to the post office and mail it to you. I should be able to put this in an envelope. It's the type of thing that if it got bent a little bit, it wouldn't matter. And you know what? I'll include this piece of railing that I've got too, because I'm not going to use it. So, yeah, I guess it's probably 80% there. Okay. Anyway, in the description of today's episode, I'll put the email address that you can actually, because some people are get pretty worried about having their information out in the public for the public to see. So we'll keep it kind of private, your mailing address, that is, and so on. Now later I remembered that the last time I put that email address in the description, I was getting all kinds of really garbage junk mail. So I'm not going to put it in the description. I think that somehow people have the way of searching descriptions and being able to just look for emails, and then, via some sort of robot or something, they just send you all kinds of junk mail. So you're just going to have to get it off the bottom of the screen there. Yeah, the model ship at hotmail.com. It's easy. Okay, enough about that. Let me recompose here and get these on blocks. Now, I was just thinking about this add-on kit here. And if there is more than one person requests it, what we'll do is we'll have a draw. Now, it could well be that nobody's going to ask for it. But I think probably somebody's going to want it. Okay, I think you get the idea. Now, if you will remember, if we're not careful, we're going to paint over our letters and not be able to read them. This is sticking down there harder than I thought it was going to. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to completely cover the letter. Alright, once again, you get the idea. Now, I can't remember who it was who had suggested that, because he thought that these pieces here, the platforms, were actually made of wood, and it's sort of a folding thing. I think if you look closely at it, you can actually see where the hinges were, and so that would mean that I would probably, I don't know if I'd want to have that deck tan, or maybe the gray like everything else. I mean, it just because they were wood doesn't necessarily mean they'd have to be, the same color as the deck. They could have been painted a different color. I'm going to just see if I can find this area in Stefan's drawings. I'm not going to do it right now on camera. We're getting sort of at the end of today's episode, I think. Okay, there is nothing more to put together for step 13. As near as I can tell, we've got everything. Like I know we don't have I don't have the guns laid out here, but we made those a long time ago. There's a whole bunch of these already made up. Okay, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we're going to be seeing you tomorrow.